Hello, and welcome to the Buena Vista Project, a podcast about Mexican-American history, politics, cultura, y más, coming to you from San Antonio, the Mexican-American capital of the United States. I'm your co-host, Elaine Ayala.
And welcome. I'm your co-host, Michael Quintanilla. Our guest today is Precinct 4 Bexar County Commissioner Tommy Calvert, now in his third term and the first African-American to serve as a county commissioner. Thank you for joining us, sir.
It's great to be here. You could almost say first Afro-Mexican because
we're
heritage
getting to
we're going to get into.
Don't give it away just yet.
Sorry.
Okay.
We heard you had a rough night last night?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, of course, the Spurs,
the
had their
Spurs
rough
lost, but we're going to get it. We're going to get it.
Yeah, if I look like hell, it's because I was up working on a speech, and the storm came, and the tornado warning scared the hell out of me, and I was on my toilet holding it, making sure that I wasn't going to get swept away.
In Twisters, they don't hold on to a toilet. They hold on to a really strong pipe.
Yeah.
But you're almost there.
I was trying.
I'm going to try to refer to you as commissioner, but I may slip and call you Tommy because I've known you since you were 14,
That's
15
right.
years old, when you were a member of the very first Express News Teen Advisory Board.
And you haven't aged a day. I'm serious.
Oh.
Yeah.
So tell us about that experience real quick.
Well, I remember writing in to make an application. I used to read the paper almost every day anyway.
And the New York Times, as he told us that we didn't have enough international news.
She's got an incredible memory.
Oh, yeah.
You're right.
I
don't think I really remember that,
She
but it's
really
coming
does.
back.
Oh, no,
Commissioner.
yeah. And especially about Africa,
Well, it's fascinating
which
because
it portended to your
to my whole
future.
career, right?
Yes.
Working in global human rights and human trafficking, anti-trafficking, I didn't even know that I was going to enter. I had a feeling I was going to do international
absolutely.
stuff, but
Okay,
to really do it,
So we'll start with a game that we
All
call
right.
This or That.
All right.
Are you ready?
Yo pienso que estoy
Feel free to elaborate on your choices.
All right.
Okay, Michael.
Okay, this or that. MLK or Malcolm X?
I'm okay. You want me to elaborate?
Yeah.
Okay.
bit.
Well, I of course, I appreciate the beloved community. And while I read them both and studied them both, I think that part of my calling in public service is to be a bridge builder. And of course, Malcolm found that bridge after Mecca, right? He found that humanity bridge
Toward the end of his life.
And I think that's kind of a good place to pick up for where we are in the world of politics. That
He came around.
yeah, and I think many people in their senior year, and I'll just say this, like, my and I feel Jaime Martinez, right? Now, when I was a kid, sometimes there was discussion, well, he's a nationalist just for the Latinos, right? But
He was an activist in the Mexican-American community and a unionist.
yeah, founder of the Cesar Chavez March, international vice president of the Electrical Unions of America. But I was his the last grand marshal that he chose in the last year of his life. And so he was sending a message to the community to build bridges.
That's right.
And many of us realize that as we become
This is what happens with this and that. It doesn't go fast.
Yeah, well, what an honor that was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Michelle Obama or Oprah?
I'm going to go with Michelle just because, I'm hearing like Oprah's in the Epstein files right now, so I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen with that.
Cesar Chavez debacle. It could go bad.
We didn't know. We didn't know.
know.
None of us knew. None of us
Okay.
knew. I'm going to go with Michelle. And that last speech she gave at the convention, that was fire.
It was awesome.
Inspired.
It was fire.
Yeah.
It was fire.
Yeah.
Toni Morrison or Maya Angelou?
Maya Angelou.
Yeah.
It was a
with
tough
you.
call, but I actually met Maya Angelou.
Wow.
I was with my mother in Washington, D.C. I think we were around, she was in front of the Mayflower Hotel. And of course, I used to read, of course, when I was coming of activism age and beginning to read literature from various African-American leaders, I remember her poem, "And Still I Rise," where
That was at the inaugural.
of Bill Clinton in '94, right? And
Beautiful.
so it's such a powerful.
It leaves you trembling.
Yeah. So she said to my mother and me, she said, what a beautiful family you are. So I'll never forget the way she
Yes.
made me feel.
Yeah.
Well, and speaking of your mother, congratulations to her recent retirement.
Thank you. And let me
31 years, is that right?
Let me just say, she is a huge part of why Alamo College District became the #1 college district in the country.
That's
She
right.
ran the largest departments in the whole Alamo Community College District. Departments like at San Antonio College, the business department, but she also ran like the real estate department, economics department, the IT department. She ran a bunch of stuff
Tell
while
us
she was there.
her name.
Sure, Dr. Val Calvert.
Val. Congratulations, Val, and thank you for your service.
Congratulations, Mom.
She's
We
amazing.
love
Okay.
you.
She's gonna keep helping the community.
Yes,
She said, "I'm not
absolutely.
gonna sit and idly. We're gonna help."
There's lots of work to be done. Okay, a couple more.
Okay.
Or, yeah, a couple more. Invisible Man, Ralph Ellison, or The Color Purple.
Yeah,
Alice.
I go with the color purple.
Yeah.
Yeah. I go with the color purple.
It was so influential in our
Correct.
lifetimes.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, I studied The Invisible Man,
Sure.
but I read The Color Purple.
That's right.
You know.
That's right.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so the Ridge on the Hill or the Magpie. Of course, these are restaurants on the Near East Side.
Yeah, I go to the Ridge on the Hill all the time. I do a lot of meetings there.
Okay.
And at first I was thinking, these books I should know. but I was like,
did I
but
read that?
I'm hungry now. It's lunchtime, right?
Oh, we're real hungry. This is our lunchtime.
Do you have a favorite thing to order from there?
Ooh, everything's
Everything.
good.
Okay.
Everything's good. But Magpie is amazing in that they just change their menu in such masterful ways.
Very, very
yeah,
good.
we love it.
Yeah.
Okay. You haven't talked much in public about this topic for obvious reasons, I think. But I've loved to hear about your origin story and your ethnic makeup.
Yeah.
It's a big story.
It's a story about the size of Texas, right?
And it's the story of San Antonio.
I think so. My family history, what I know the most about is on my mother's side because it is a distinguished Texas history. My mother's family were some of the first settlers in East Texas. And so we were up 75 miles northeast of Houston in a little town called New Waverly. And there's a black side and a white side. And one of the things that shocked me when I was looking at Ancestry DNA, there's several things, right? But one of the things was one day I get this notice from Ancestry, and it says, you have a relative in the Confederate Army.
Oh, my God.
I was like, the hell? I'm an abolitionist. How the
That's
hell
right.
do I have
We're
a...
unionists.
Yeah, how the hell does this happen? But it made sense. So in my house was a picture of Godfrey Ellisor, who was our slaveholder. And he is also my great-great-great-grandfather. And that's part of the reason my
Yes.
skin is the color it is.
It is, yeah.
So
Tell us his name again.
Godfried Ellisor.
Wow.
So
Ellisor.
in my background, I have German, English, Nordic, Jewish,
African.
oh yeah. So then my great-great-grandmother, she was a part, Native American, right? So I am 10% Native American, and so there's some very interesting history that I could go into that, but I'll get to the other half on my father's side.
T.C. Calvert, the very, very notable civil rights leader, activist, radio personality, you name it.
Yeah.
A very big man in so many ways.
Yeah. So Dad is half Mexican and half black, and so my last name biologically should be Trevino. I'm really Tommy Trevino.
Wow.
But my grandmother.
And we love claiming
I love claiming you too.
Oh my God.
I love claiming you too.
Almost everybody, if they pronounce their name, even if they're Italian, I go, are you Spanish? By any-"
Well, yeah.
Sort of,
Yeah,
kind of.
yeah. And
I always want to claim.
yeah, and funny you mentioned Italian because in that looking at his side, there was like 5% Italian that came through from the Spanish,
of course.
Portuguese, Basque region is what my ancestry. I sent you screenshots last night so that I don't wind up like Elizabeth Warren, getting made fun of. I'm like, here's the
No, we
DNA.
have proof,
I got the
ladies and
receipt.
gentlemen.
But I will say that it is time for me to tie some of this up in a bow by getting a genealogist because my grandmother was married to a Calvert. So I was born from un engaño, right? Or my father was, I should say. And so
Un engaño. I love it.
there's a lot of the history that I don't know. What I've heard is that our folks were from Monterrey, but I have to get that solidified. What I was able to find on Ancestry, because once you get on Ancestry, you start getting addicted to like the rabbit holes of history that you go down, right?
Yeah.
So I was able to trace back my grandfather's flower shop not too far from here on Flores, okay?
And it was called?
Rogers Flowers. And I found an ad in the Express News. So, but that's as far as I could get. So what I'll do from there is turn that over to a genealogist who can find his home address from his, hopefully he had his business filing at the county clerk's office and things like that. And then we can look at his birthday and we can look at more of my family in the Latino community. And so,
in the Mexican American community.
Yes, indeed.
Because we live in the Mexican American
capital of the
United States.
And you know what? I have been advocating, trying to do more for the Mexican American community as the Mexican American capital of the United States, because we are so underserved politically, economically.
Too many of us in poverty. Perpetual, persistent poverty.
Well, and that's because the money and the goodies are not going to the people.
That's right. And historically, they have not. It's public policy.
Yeah.
Poverty was public policy.
Well, you and I could pick up on that match. You just lit. But it is a shame, and it is a very difficult battle in San Antonio to fight for those who don't have a lobbyist, who don't give campaign contributions. Yes. But that is who I fight for.
Yeah, and we can add lack of education to that as well, as we've learned through our GED programs that we participate in. A little bit more about Trevino. Where did that surname come from?
Well, that's where you got to hire the genealogist. So that's from my grandfather.
You got to meet
right?
him.
No, I didn't.
Him.
So I
Your
didn't.
father
I'll tell you a couple stories about my mother did. So before I was born, my father took my mother to meet his real biological father. Okay, and to be honest, I never even knew a Grandpa Calvert. The grandpa that I grew up with, because Grandma and Grandpa Calvert got divorced after that revelation.
Oh my God! There was a little
because my dad.
Fue un problema.
Yeah, my dad was born in Lubbock. My grandmother went to Lubbock with her sister, and I think when this light brown baby came out, there was some issues.
There were question marks.
There were some issues. I mean, I'm just using my creative license,
yes,
but
we're not going to say the actual thing. But
some issues.
Yes, I mean it's so common.
Yeah,
so common.
Yeah, and so. we haven't even had anything to drink. We're having a good time. There was a distance because remember, my grandfather was also married, right? And so it wasn't exactly welcome that there was a child that was out of wedlock, right? And so there was a tension, and there was not really an integration. But I understand my grandfather was very proud of my father. He knew of his activism. He knew of his civil rights work. And so my father, as my mother tells me, brought my mother to meet him. And my mother, he didn't tell my mother that was his father. But she goes, "That must be your father." And he goes, "Yeah." Because they had a very big personality, very boisterous. And a similar story to meeting un primo many decades later. So Margot Gonzalez, she's the granddaughter of Henry B. Gonzalez. She was working for me in my PR firm.
There's history everywhere in San Antonio.
We're all connected.
We all are connected.
Yeah.
And so I had a PR firm. She was, young and needing a job, and so I was happy to bring her in. She was fabulous. And one day she says, "Hey, my ex-boyfriend Joey and I are going to Trilogy Pizza in Stone Oak. You want to join us?" I'm like, "Sure." So we go to Trilogy Pizza, and he says, "I'm Joey Trevino." I said, "Oh, I'm Tommy Calvert, but my last name should be Trevino." And he goes, "Oh, how's that?" I said, "Well, my grandpa's name is Roger Trevino." He goes, "Oh, wow. My grandfather's name is Roger Trevino." I said, "Well, yeah, he owned a flower shop on Flores." He goes, "My grandfather owned a flower shop
I
on
love
Flores."
these San Antonio stories.
I looked at his hands. For whatever reason, I looked down and I looked at his hands. And my dad and I, we kind of have unique fingernails and hands.
Yes,
and his fingers were the first person's fingernails who looked like mine and my dad's.
Wow.
And I knew we were cousins, right?
My goodness.
And so but that is the not wanting to kind of disrupt the family or anything like that. That's kind of where we've left it. But I very much want to connect and learn.
Yes.
I think some of my entrepreneurial spirit comes from my grandpa. I think some of my outgoing ways comes from my grandpa.
Absolutely.
I'd like to hear more about him.
Yeah, that's one wonderful story and a legacy to continue to build on. So we're going to move on to this subject, and hopefully you'll answer. So you've talked about the Alamo in ways that other office holders haven't. That is about putting Jesus back into the Alamo Church and making it a place of healing for white supremacy and slavery. Of course, that's such an extraordinary statement, Commissioner. Would you please share a little bit more?
So the irony of the good Lord was that he made a descendant of slaves the commissioner for the Alamo. I represent the Alamo. I'm not just any commissioner.
Right.
I'm a dude who literally went into the Sudan to free slaves, who went into Burma and across Tijuana and all kinds of places,
how
right?
Your precinct includes that part.
Claro.
Precinct 4.
Yeah.
Precinct 4
yeah.
it comes into right.
God is way ahead of us,
I
right?
know. He is good. He's magical.
So he gave me this this struggle when a couple years ago the Alamo Foundation wanted $25 million from the Commissioner's Court. And I'm like, how do I reconcile my knowledge of slavery and the history of the Alamo and this amount of money? And so I believe after really wrestling and meditating and asking God for really forgiveness, that's really what I had to do, was I had to turn the page on the past and try to chart the next future, because I believe young people in particular, with books like Forget the Alamo and The Myth of the Alamo Defenders that was written by Mario Salas, I believe I see more of these young people aware of the real history. And I don't think in 30 years we're going to be looking at the Alamo the way that we are looking at it today.
For sure.
So I said, we know the Alamo as a military station, but it was a church first. And I said, let's put Jesus back in that church and make the Alamo a place for reconciliation and healing for slavery and white supremacy. We're not there today, obviously. But I believe in my lifetime, in short order, within a decade or two, I believe we will have to transform that message and that conversation as we are ascending into an era of truth being really very important, and it really vibrating and redounding what truth is. It really will set us free when we can do that, and it'll bring us together. I think that's the best chart that we can go facing forward. And I use my own family history, right? Like where I talked about finding that Confederate ancestor, and I said, look, we don't worship the things that were bad things in our family. We can love and appreciate our family for whatever moment they were in that time. The dirty laundry I've already aired on this show is a lot of it. We don't as a society, we're not going to be going to a point of replicating those things. We're going to be going to a place of turning a chapter to improve upon what has happened in the past. And I think that's where San Antonio should be.
And
we are a city named after a state.
Absolutely. And it comes back to Africa, because in South Africa, they taught the world about truth and reconciliation. And there was an official commission on it where people, it sort of reminds me of the Civil Rights Commission.
Led by Desmond Tutu.
That's right.
That's right.
And that is where our country needs to go. And that is where San Antonio needs to go.
And that's part of where I got the model. As an international relations guy, I studied the making of a nation through the reconciliation. And so, the governor, lieutenant governor, they haven't quite heard the message. But I believe that young people are going to move the message.
Yes. Those voters are going to move us.
Yep.
Oh, it's my turn. Ha, ha, ha. You'll cut that out. Besides budget issues, Commissioner, which every governmental body is facing, it seems that the state of Bexar County and its jail and the sheriff's department's turnover rate and staffing issues might be among the toughest. Tell us how you assess it.
I think San Antonio's top issues are its chronic lack of undereducation. That is my top issue. If you look at who's in the jail, 50% are high school dropouts, right? So we have an adult literacy problem that you all work on. 25 to 35% of our adult population reads at a 5th grade level. I think about my own grandmother who she could read, but she would hand me mail documents and say, can you read this for me? That's someone who is functionally illiterate, right?
That's
so
right.
we need to work on that. The second big issue is our poverty issue. And of course, education is the foundation for getting you out of that poverty. But the wealth gap, with Hispanics having 18 times less wealth than whites, blacks having 20 times less wealth than whites, has to be bridged by home ownership. We've got to make sure that corporations aren't outbidding us in terms of the homes and down payments. And that's why I passed the housing bond. I created the housing bond with Mayor Ivy Taylor. And then, of course, I think the environment, right, is something that is, with our drought, if you don't have water, you don't have a community, you don't have economic development, you don't have anything. And with data centers, we've got to look at our power and our water. We all felt that in the February freeze.
Thank you so much, Commissioner. We're out of time. Tommy, thank you so much.
Enjoyed it. It went fast.
Yeah, it went fast.
Please come
You
back
got all my
again.
dirt.
Please come back again.
No, I think
No, actually, you don't have all my dirt. Let me say that.
I think when yours is a study in the demography
True.
and identity
Yeah.
of San Antonio.
And I want to give my father credit for always being a bridge builder between the Latino and black community. When
absolutely.
there was great divisions. Not only I want to give him credit for that, but I also want to give him credit for being a bridge builder between the LGBT community and the black community when there
Amen.
was often those debates.
And
That's
we
right.
want you to come back when you get your genealogy study.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Yes,
Yeah,
you-
yeah.
you
That'll
can
be
come
fun.
back
That'll
and
be
tell us
fun.
more about that. Everyone, you can find our podcast on our website, buenavistaproject.com, as well as on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Music. Please check us out soon and come back for another episode of the Buena Vista Project. Until then,
Hasta la Buena Vista.
baby.
That's it.
I love it.